It's the beginning of the semester. You're excited. That excitement and motivation has given you the initial momentum you need to get moving in the direction of that new goal that you set for the semester. But now you're 2 weeks in, it's getting harder, it's feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you're not progressing as fast as you thought that you would, and you're about ready to quit. Does this cycle sound familiar to you? I'm Clarissa, and you're watching She Rocks at College, where college women come to learn how to earn better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through a process that makes achieving your goal almost inevitable. So this is a whole goal setting series for college students. So if you haven't already watched video 1 and 2, pause this video right now because nothing that I'm about to say is going to make any sense. Go watch those videos and then come back. If you've been watching it all along, I'm going to give you the very first step to create a plan that will make achieving your goals almost a given. By this point, you've already done a self-reflection. You know what your number one priority is. You've set a realistic and specific goal, but what's missing is the actual plan to help you achieve that realistic and specific goal. The great thing is that if you did the reflecting process, then you already have some insight into the things that you want to avoid because they clearly do not work. And you might be beginning to have some insights into the actions that you can create to start moving you in the direction of having a more enjoyable experience in the area of your life that you've identified as your number one priority. This is where the actionable by you part of the goal setting process that I talked about in last week's video comes in. What actions are you going to take that are measurable, meaning you can track them to see if you're actually making progress towards your goal? What are the actions that you can take and measure to move you in the direction of achieving your goal? Here are the steps to create that plan. First, what I want you to do is I want you to brainstorm anything and everything that comes to mind that might help you to achieve this goal. Now, I want you to write this list without any judgment. Free write, free flow, whatever comes to your mind, whatever crazy, insane, fun idea you think will actually help you reach that goal. But beside each of those things, I also want you to write down why you think that doing that action will help you to move in the direction that you want to go when it comes to this goal. No judgment. We're going to nitpick each of them in a second, I promise. So in the example that I'm going to be using, we're going to say that this particular student wants to go from a C- to a B- on their first exam for each of their classes. So some of the things that this student might do to help them, achieve this goal is they might attend every single lecture, never skip a lecture. They might go to office hours. They might go to the tutoring center. They might really focus on reading and writing notes either immediately after class or the next day. They might focus on working with another classmate, purchasing a study guide that comes with the book, hiring a private tutor, going to workshops on campus. They might cheat. Hey, I said don't judge it. They might focus on creating a study plan or watching videos on YouTube or Khan Academy. They might record their lecture and then rewatch it later. They might create flashcards. They might quiz themselves on the flashcard using something like Anki or Quizlet. They might borrow notes from a friend, copy notes from a friend, join a study group, do the end of chapter questions, ask the professor for a practice exam, make sure they're doing all their homework assignments. They might want to quit certain things so that they have more time. Again, whatever the student believes will help them achieve the goal. But again, you have to write down the why. So why would going to every single lecture help you achieve that goal? Well, you're going to stay on top of the assignment. You have the opportunity to ask questions on anything that you don't understand. Same reason why tutoring will help. What we're staying on top of the reading and the notes help you with? Well, I won't fall behind and I won't have to cram the night before the exam, etc. So after you've gone through this process, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to look at everything that you wrote down, and you're going to pick 1 to 3 of these actions that you are going to focus on over the next 4 weeks to help you achieve this goal. I'm going to give you a guideline on how to specifically pick the actions that will yield the most results or give you more bang for your buck per se. What you need to think about is, do you have the skill to perform this action? Do you have the time to perform this action? Do you have the resources to perform this action? Is there anything that might get in the way from you actually performing this action? And if there is, what is it? And if you've gone through this process and you realize that the 1 to 3 actions it is that you think will yield the biggest bang for your buck require an additional resource or a skill or more time, then really the action that you want to pick has to be around one of those things. Let me give you an example so that you understand what I mean. Let's say that the 3 actions that I think will give me the most bang for my buck for going from a C- to a B- on my first exam in each of my classes is to attend every lecture, read and write notes for the topic that was covered in that class the very next morning, and to complete the end of chapter questions at the end of a week, sort of as a quiz and recall tool for yourself. Now let's say that my lecture is at 8 a.m., but I never make it there because I always either oversleep or hit snooze on my alarm. Well, I need to figure out why it is that I oversleep and hit snooze on my alarm. Is it because I'm not getting enough sleep at night? Is it because I'm just blatantly lazy? Whatever. What I've done is I've identified something that gets in the way of me actually achieving or completing this one action, and if I do it consistently over the next 4 weeks will help me get that B-. And now I'm going to create an action, a new action that I'm actually going to focus on over the next 4 weeks that will make it so that I can get up at 8 in the morning and make it to class so that I can get that B-. Does that make sense? So if it's that I am oversleeping because I'm tired, then the action that I would want to take is to set a certain time to go to bed so that I'm getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night and I'm not feeling tired. Or if it's that I'm lazy, maybe I purchase a traditional alarm clock and I set it at the opposite end of my room so that I physically have to get out of bed to turn off that annoying alarm, and that helps me get out of bed. Another example that I can give you would be with the second action that I chose. So let's say that I'm going to focus on writing notes and reading the next morning, but when I read a chapter, I don't understand what I'm reading, and my notes contain a bunch of fluff information that I will never be tested on. Well, something that's going to get in the way is me not having really good reading comprehension skills and note-taking skills, and that might deter me because I might feel discouraged that my notes don't help me pass the exam. So then what I have to do is create an action that will help me to write really good notes and read so that I comprehend. So the new action that I'm going to focus on over the next 4 weeks isn't really going to be to read and write the notes after lecture, although that's going to happen. It's to sign up for a reading comprehension and note-taking workshop at my school. Or maybe I write a set of notes with my professor and I schedule some time with him or her to do that. That's going to be what I'm focusing on over the next 4 weeks. And as you can see, if I focus on those things consistently, it makes the other things possible. And those other things is really what's going to help me to achieve my goal. The reason why I think of the actions in this manner is because it helps me to identify any roadblocks ahead of time so that I can devise and create a plan around it. Notice how intentional I'm being around these actions. Notice how I am setting myself up with a container, a space, an environment where I am set up to succeed. I'm leaving no room for me to let procrastination come in. I'm not giving myself any room to make excuses. I'm covering all my bases ahead of time so that this plan moves me in the direction that I want to go with this grade. But what's still missing in our action is the measurable part. How are you going to assess whether or not taking these actions is actually working? How are you going to track what you need to change if you do need to change something? How are you going to know that things are moving in the right direction and that progress is happening? The first thing is that you need to get specific with when, how, and what you're going to be doing to do these actions. So in the case of my 3 actions, I'm going to attend lecture Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because that is when the classes happen at 8 a.m. in the morning. For the reading and the writing, the notes, that's going to happen the day after, so Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I'd pick a time depending on what was free in my schedule. And then on Sundays, I do the end of chapter questions. Again, I'd pick a time that would work with my schedule, but I'm being specific with the when it's going to happen. So the last and probably the most essential piece of creating a plan that will help make your goals inevitable is getting feedback, tracking your results, and making micro changes that will continue to move you in the direction that you want to go. I do this in a process that I call the academic scorecard. It's an idea that I got from the book, The 12-Week Year, that I have adapted and modified for the students that I work with one-on-one inside of study school as well. But to learn all about that, the academic scorecard, you're gonna have to wait until the next video. In the meantime, I would love to hear what your 1 to 3 actions are going to be over the next 4 weeks. And remember, you're going to be consistent and diligent with those 4 actions. So go ahead, leave them in the comments below to hold yourself accountable. And if you want to continue to follow along with this goal setting for college students series, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't watched the other videos already, go and watch those now. Until next time, friends. Bye.